And about the final tools, load from library. As you're concerned, we have used load from library and load RVT for many times. So we can get access to the library of the families, then we can import them with RFA file type, and then by load Autodesk family, as you can see, we load an Autodesk family from the cloud. And in the continuation, I want to talk about the load as group and insert from file. First one, load as group, that we load a Revit file as a group. It enables us to import a project as a group into the current project. Suppose that we go into the project environment, and then we can import the RVT files as a group. For instance, if I open a new family template file, then from insert tab, load as a group, then we can import a family here, an RFA file as a group. For instance, in furniture, I select this and then I import it to the family as a group. Check this out, this is the result, and it is added to the groups in the project browser that you can find it by, and I added by click and drag, and we talked about the groups in the previous seasons, and we got it as a model group, and then we can use it in the scene like this way, and this is awesome. I close this, but in the project, sometimes we got some projects that I'm talking about some complexes, some buildings, some apartments, okay, that we want to import them as a group here. Or I'm talking about some typical elements or some typical projects, some typical buildings or some typical levels or floors that we can import them here as a group, load as group. Here, as you can see, we can import RVT files, okay? Firstly, let me check the file location. I open the folder of link Revit, link files. Then we can import one of the RVT files like linked model or the host model or the nested model. It does not make difference. And in this part we got three options. The first one, include attached details, include levels, and include grids. These options are the same options that we talked about groups, as you remember. But right now I don't want to talk about them. I just consider the default option. Here we can include the 2D elements like detail items, detail tags, and detail components, and so on. I click on open, and then we'll have the file as a group imported to this project. For instance, place group right here, and then I add it as a group into the project environment. Check this out. And this is the base point or the pivot point that we can adjust it wherever we want. So by this order, we can easily import an RVT file or a project as a group into our project. And this is very great, practical, helpful, that you can use in your projects. Or for instance, and in other cases that in which we can use this method, for instance, you can open a file by this way. Then I open the link folder, and then I want to open this architectural file by this way. Check this out. As you remember, we told you that the Revit files and other disciplines can be linked. If you remember linked Revit, I told you that if you wanted to convert the linked files to the current elements, you can just bind them. But right now I just want to tell you another method that you can use this, load as group, and then select the desired file, link files, for instance, the structural file, and then I can include levels and include grids, and then I open it. Here, as you can see, the link is approximately 10 megabytes or greater. Loading large amounts of data can impact performance. Considering linking instead, I mean, it lowers the performance, okay? So we can link it instead of importing it. I mean, this is the recommendation by Autodesk Revit. But for now, as we know, I mean, despite of being more than 10 megabytes, I import it as a group, and then it will be imported here. So wait for a second. Anyway, it is imported here as a group. As you can see, then I open one of these plan views. I use click and drag, and then I drop it in this plan view. Then you'll see that it makes the process simpler than before. It simplifies the process of modeling for us, that we can just import our files as a group. However, we can adjust the position using move. However, since the imported file is a group, no, we got some problem in navigating because it has lowered the performance of Autodesk Revit, but you can use such a method when you got some small elements or small projects, not larger scale projects. You can import them as group and then ungroup them, so then you can use them in your projects. Then it seems that as if it is modeled in Revit. You know, this is usually used in modular modeling modular elements, for instance, in typical elements that we want to repeat some elements like floors, some buildings, that they are all the same, that groups are a great option in such a condition. I cancelled it by this way. Anyway, this is the way that we use load as group to load a RVT or Revit file to the project as a group. And if we want to import it to the family, we can import a group as a RFA actually.